Welcome back to Outside Views Military. Naval drones and autonomous vessels have become pivotal in reshaping the future of maritime defense. These innovations, unmanned surface vessels, also known as USVs, and underwater drones, represent the next frontier in naval warfare. Today we are diving deep into why these technologies are so crucial, how they work, and the challenges they bring. But first, what exactly are USVs and underwater drones? USVs are essentially robotic vessels that operate on the water's surface. They can be controlled remotely or increasingly function autonomously, equipped with artificial intelligence that allows them to make decisions on their own. Meanwhile, underwater drones, sometimes called unmanned underwater vehicles or UUVs, carry out missions below the surface. These drones can dive to depths beyond the reach of traditional vessels, operating in environments that would be challenging or even impossible for human divers. Together, USVs and UUVs serve as a wide range of purposes. They are deployed for surveillance and reconnaissance, mine detection and clearance, anti-submarine warfare, and even environmental monitoring. With each advancement, these vessels are gaining a greater ability to act independently, responding to their environments and adapting to mission demands without human intervention. A huge advantage of these unmanned vessels is the reduction of risk for human crews, of course. Let's take mine clearance operations as an example here. In the past, naval personnel risked their lives disarming underwater mines, a highly dangerous task. Now, with unmanned vessels, these operations can be conducted remotely, keeping sailors out of harm's way. And this shift is especially valuable in high-risk areas like the Persian Gulf, the South China Sea, or the Strait of Hormuz, where tensions are always simmering. Beyond just safety, USVs and UUVs also bring practical benefits. Because they don't require food, rest, or shelter, these vessels can remain at sea much longer than manned ships. This endurance makes them perfect for extended surveillance missions or prolonged patrols, particularly in contested areas where maintaining a constant presence is critical. From a financial perspective, these unmanned vessels are generally less costly than traditional warships. They are smaller, lighter, and don't need the extensive crew accommodations that manned vessels require. And this makes them accessible for nations with smaller defense budgets, leveling the playing field and allowing more countries to expand their naval capabilities. Now let's look at how major powers are investing in these technologies. In recent years, the United States, China, and Russia have all ramped up their development and deployment of naval drones. The US Navy has launched several programs to incorporate both USVs and UUVs into its fleet, aiming to boost flexibility and reach. One of the most notable examples is the Sea Hunter, an autonomous vessel designed to detect and track enemy submarines over long distances. Sea Hunter can operate for months at a time, gathering critical intelligence without a single human on board. China, meanwhile, has developed its own multifunctional USV known as the Yari USV. This vessel can take on various roles, from anti-submarine, anti-aircraft missions to even anti-ship combat. And Yari represents a trend toward creating multi-purpose unmanned platforms capable of switching roles depending on mission needs. Russia is also heavily invested in this domain, particularly with its development of underwater drones. The Poseidon, for example, is an autonomous underwater vehicle designed with strategic nuclear capabilities. If deployed, Poseidon could travel underwater across vast distances, carrying a nuclear payload, which poses a significant strategic threat. However, as promising as these technologies are, they also face significant challenges. One of the biggest obstacles is the ethical and legal implications of autonomous warfare. Allowing machines to make lethal decisions without human oversight raises serious moral and legal concerns. What happens if an autonomous vessel mistakenly identifies a civilian vessel as a threat? And these questions remain largely unanswered, creating a gray area in international law. And cybersecurity is another pressing concern. As these drones rely heavily on data and software, they are vulnerable to cyber attacks, hacking, and electronic jamming. An adversary that manages to compromise a USV or UUV could potentially turn it against its operators or use it to gather sensitive data. Environmental factors also play a role in limiting these vessels' capabilities. USVs can be heavily impacted by rough seas, storms, and other unpredictable weather conditions. Underwater drones face their own set of challenges. Water pressure, temperature, salinity, and even ocean currents can affect their operation. Despite these limitations, the demand for USVs and UUVs is only expected to grow in the coming years. One reason is the potential for manned-unmanned teaming, where traditional warships operate alongside swarms of unmanned vessels. This would allow a single ship to cover a much larger area with the support of multiple autonomous drones carrying out complementary missions. Swarming tactics, where a large number of drones work together to overwhelm an adversary, could be revolutionary in naval warfare. Imagine a scenario where dozens of small, agile USVs launch a coordinated attack on an enemy vessel, using their speed and numbers to outmaneuver and confuse the target. And these tactics are not limited to surface vessels. Underwater drones could also perform coordinated strikes, using stealth and surprise to achieve strategic objectives in a way that was previously just impossible. With AI continuing to advance, these drones will only become smarter, more autonomous, and capable of completing complex tasks with minimal input from human operators. Artificial intelligence will also play an increasingly significant role in processing the massive amounts of data gathered by these drones. Real-time analysis of sonar, radar, and visual data could give military commanders an unprecedented level of situational awareness. And some experts believe that this shift could lead to a transformation in naval doctrine. Instead of investing in massive, costly warships, navies may start to prioritize a more distributed fleet of smaller, autonomous vessels. And this would allow for more flexible, adaptive strategies that emphasize speed, stealth, and precision over sheer firepower. In this scenario, naval forces could operate a more dispersed fleet, making it harder for adversaries to detect and target. And this approach could even change the nature of maritime strategy itself, with navies focusing less on projecting power through large ships and more on agile, versatile tactics. Unmanned vessels also hold potential for humanitarian and peacetime applications. For example, USVs and UUVs can be used for environmental monitoring, mapping the ocean floor, or tracking illegal fishing activities. They can also assist in search and rescue operations, scanning large areas faster than traditional ships, and providing critical data to human responders. In the near future, it's likely we will see more collaboration between manned ships and autonomous drones. Imagine a scenario where a manned vessel is surrounded by a fleet of drones, each with a specialized role, from surveillance to mine detection to electronic warfare. The drones could share information with a manned vessel in real time, giving the crew a clearer picture of the operational environment. Ultimately, the rise of unmanned surface vessels and underwater drones marks one of the most significant shifts in naval warfare since the introduction of aircraft carriers. These technologies are opening new possibilities for surveillance, combat, and strategic deterrence. However, as with any disruptive innovation, they also bring a host of new questions, challenges, and risks. And one thing is certain: the future of naval warfare is being written today by these autonomous vessels. As technology advances, the role of humans in naval operations may continue to diminish, with more and more tasks handed over to autonomous machines. Navies around the world are preparing for this future, investing heavily in research, development, and training for unmanned operations. And while there is still much to learn and many challenges to overcome, the potential is undeniable. This isn't just the dawn of a new era for naval forces. It's the start of a fundamental transformation in how nations protect their interests at sea. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen.